Hey everybody, how we doing today? Thanks for joining us again here for another live stream today. As always, excited to have you guys here for our kind of AI month recap, which is kind of hard to believe that it's already the end of July, literally as close to the end of July as we can get, almost with tomorrow being August. So I don't know about you guys, but I can feel the kind of air shifting from summer into um, fall and back to school and Q4. I kind of already, especially the last like week or so between kids getting ready for school and just seeing what's kind of going on in the POD world, can really kind of feel that shift starting to happen. So if you guys haven't started getting ready for Q4, you'd better jump on it. It's time, and I think this one's going to be a great one with all the new functionality you guys have in Anywhere POD now. So thanks for joining. Let me make sure that I'm coming through okay. If you could let me know down in the chat that you guys can hear and see me okay. And I will get my screen set up here so we can start jumping into it. Let me jump over to YouTube here real quick, make sure we are actually live, and we are, so that is great. All right. Let's see here. Awesome. Yes, coming through good. Awesome. Alrighty, so let's walk through. So what I wanted to do today, really, since the last 3 weeks, we have released a lot of new features in the last 3 weeks between the AI SEO tools that we have now, the AI filters, which are super powerful, and then the live previews that are now available on Etsy. Really kind of opens the door wide for you to do a lot of things as you're getting ready for Q4 this year. So wanted to, like I said, since we released so much in the last 3 weeks, wanted to kind of do a recap of those 3 main features and kind of give you guys an opportunity, if you've been using them the last few weeks. We would love to hear any feedback and or questions that you might have along the way. So I think what I will do is run through kind of a quick demo of each one real quick, and some of the things that you can do with it now. And feel free to ask questions along the way. We should also have plenty of time at the end. I don't know how long we'll go today. It'll really kind of depend on how many questions that we have come up, but we'll make sure to answer all the questions that we can. So we should have plenty of time to be able to answer any questions that you guys might have. So want to make sure to save as much time for that as possible. So let me pull my screen up here and we will get started. Awesome. Love to hear that, Judy. I'm making my 3rd product now using the live preview and love it. So easy to use. Fantastic. Glad to hear. We have gotten a lot of really good feedback, especially on the live previews and some of the possibilities that really opens up for you to be able to automate now that, you know, if it was possible in the past, it was certainly a big pain and is no longer. So we are super excited for that. All right. So jumping in here. So first of all, I'll show the first 2 AI features, which is our kind of advanced SEO tool that we have available in here now, and the AI filters. So real fast, if you're new to this, OpenAI is how we're connecting and using these AI features on any of the products that we create here in Anywhere POD. So you do need to connect to OpenAI. It's pretty simple setup process, and we have a list of instructions here to kind of walk you through that process so you can get your API keys and everything set up. You do need to make sure that you fund your account and that you verify your organization. Also take note here, we've had a few questions about the difference between OpenAI and my ChatGPT subscription, and does that work, and that whole sort of thing. So ChatGPT is completely separate from OpenAI, right? So if you ChatGPT subscription, that does not affect anything that we're talking about in terms of Anywhere POD and the AI tools that we have. Okay, so let me walk through a quick example of our SEO tool and kind of show you guys how that works. So I'm going to excuse me, I'm going to come in here and create a t-shirt. So we're just going to go with, let's go with comfort colors here for this one. And I'll come down here to Swift POD. Now, in this case, I happen to have my design saved on my computer as a PNG, so we'll use that. Obviously, you can still use the Canva integration to be able to pull this in. So let's start with our first one. So this is going to be centered around the nurse niche. So here we're going to go ahead and we will select a few colors here. So let's go. Let me see which I have. We'll just select a couple of them here. We have that uploaded. So again, this is just simple like product creation process so far, right? We're just getting our product created. This is going to go through, kind of generate the placeholder artwork for us. It'll generate any mockups that are available from the print provider as well. So all of those will be available to us. I think on a color or two that I selected here, I even have some custom mockups created. So it's going to go through and generate those for me as well, which I do. So you can see here we have a few custom mockups that has just gone ahead and has those automatically available for us here as well. So with our AI tool, what's really cool about this, where I really think the power is, several different tools out there that you can use. You can even go to ChatGPT and have it kind of give you, titles and description and suggested tags. I wasn't ever really that happy with those tools, and a lot of the other programs that have those tools built in wasn't really ever happy with the results, because you end up getting a lot of really generic tags, right? So like for this one, we may get something like graphic t-shirt, or maybe it'll get niched down far enough to give me like a NICU shirt or something like that. But it still does not really get into the specific keywords that are actually going to start driving you sales based on the research that you do. So we don't so much see this tool as replacing the research step. Data is still important, and data is still king, still very important to do your research. But what's nice with our AI tool is you're able to upload a CSV file of your research data. So for example, if you use eRank, when you are searching for tags, you can add those tags to a favorite list. So you can name, in this case, have a favorite list for nurses, go through and do all of your research, add all of the keywords that you think are relevant to that favorite list. And then you can download that list as a CSV file, which is exactly what I've done here. So if I upload our CSV file here, you can see not only are we going to have access to those tags that we researched, but we're going to have access to the data that's associated with those tags, because it's part of that CSV file. So that means we can do things like, use keywords that have the highest average searches, avoid keywords with low search volume, all that sort of stuff. So once we have that uploaded, we can just come here and go to generate. And you'll have to excuse my voice a little bit. I'm trying to, it seems, come down with a cold in middle of summer that I'm sure my kids brought home. So you'll have to excuse me if I have to mute here a few times. But what this is going to do is going to go through and scrape not only our image and any of the other data that we added in the prompt, but it's also going to utilize that CSV file. So we get really good, really specific tag recommendations. Those tags are used in our title, they're used in our description. So it really does a really good job with selecting these. Down in here, we even give some other suggested ones. So if we want to use, say, this NICU nurse gifts instead of pediatric nurse, we can remove that from the top list and just click here to be able to add that one back to the top. Makes it very easy to be able to swap out those. So once we have those there, we can just click on apply to product, and it's now going to save that title, description, and tags directly onto our listing here. So those will publish over to Etsy with our listing along the way as well. Stephanie brought up a really good point. So she is asking, is it restricting the 20 max in the keywords? So we do have, that's one thing, as advanced as AI is, sometimes it's interesting. Some of the, what you would almost consider simpler tasks, it's not as good at doing. So we do have several spots, and we have done a lot of testing trying to get the AI directly to conform to a 20 character maximum. Unfortunately, AI is not very good at following those instructions. So it does allow and comes up with some tags that are over that 20 character limit. So we are adding in, and that should be, it's not live yet, but it should be live either later today or tomorrow, where we're going to actually have a secondary check on our side to make sure that it's under 20 characters. And if it's not, then we'll reject that tag and insert a different one. So it is not completely restricting to 20 characters yet. It does an okay job, but it does come up with some that are over 20 characters. So we will be, like I said, we will have that secondary check live on there soon that will prevent that from happening. Okay, so once we have that, the other really powerful thing that I see with this SEO tool is the ability to do this in bulk as well. So in this case, we have several other NICU nurse designs that are already ready to go. So I can come in here to our bulk upload tool, come into choose files, and I can select all of my other kind of nurse niche designs that are that I already have ready to go. So you can see here, all these are in the similar niche as the first one. So I can use that same CSV file. So when I come in here to generate with AI and go to choose file, we'll upload our CSV file here again. Similar prompts and setup and everything is what I just showed on an individual basis. But now when I click on generate, it's not just going to do it for one, it's going to walk through and do it for every single image that I bulk uploaded. So we're going to be able to go through and in just a few seconds here, be able to get SEO relevant, keyword rich title, tags, and description that are all based on actual research data that we performed using whatever tool we decided to use. So you can see for each one of these, it does a really good job getting very close. When you provided a good CSV, the quality of titles and tags that it gives you out of this is really amazing. Now, what's really cool with this, one is we're doing this in bulk, right? But also with our bulk uploader, it works with our mockup templates. So I mentioned that on this, like on the Ivory, you guys saw where I had custom mockups that I had created for the Ivory color. So when I click on submit here, not only is it going to go through and update the artwork for every single product that I uploaded, so it's going to have that update. Not only then is it also going to apply the correct title, tags, and descriptions to each one, but it is also going to go through and generate all of our custom mockups for every single one as well. So just like that, with the click of a button, I was able to upload 10, 20, 30, 40 designs in a few minutes, have all of my keyword rich title tags and descriptions already completed and filled out for me, and have it go through and automatically generate all of my custom mockups. So I don't have to do those one at a time either. So you can see those are showing up for every single one now. So we've got our custom title, custom tags, custom description. If I come in here to my mockups, you can see it also generated my custom mockups that I have set up in my mockup templates in Anywhere POD. So just like that, in like literally just a couple of minutes, I can upload 30, 40, 50 designs, have a product created for each one with my custom mockups, with my SEO already completed. It is such a huge time saver when you start getting into this level of bulk functionality. Like you can design in bulk, you can get them created in bulk. It really makes things so much easier. Okay, so a couple questions on this. What subscription are all the features available? Yeah, so for pretty much any of this, all of the AI tools are part of the Pro Plus plan. as well as the live previews and the bulk uploads. Those are all part of our Pro Plus plan. So you will need to be on that higher tier level to have access to those. When you use a CSV file for the SEO, is the text to generate the title and description already in the prompt box, or do we need to create those each time? So you do not, you can modify what's in your prompt. So if I come back in here to generate with AI, you can see I have a standard prompt here that is going to give instructions to the AI. There is also a set of instructions and training data that we have behind this as well that's helping to generate the most relevant tags possible. So you can adjust this prompt here. And then also when you upload a CSV file, there's going to be a second prompt box that shows up here that's just specific to the CSV file and how you want the AI to handle the CSV data that you're uploading. So you can really have a lot of control over that. Both of what you see in both of these boxes is already pre-filled in for you. So you don't have to make adjustments on every single one of these if you don't want to, but it's there and you're able to do that if that's something you want to do. All right, so that is our AI tool. It also gives you a little preview of what you can do with mockup templates and our bulk uploader. So I think what I want to show you now is we'll probably go over our AI filters and the Etsy live previews at the same time. We can kind of show you both of those and kind of show you an example of those. So I think the example that I want to walk through, we've had a few people reach out and ask actually about if you guys saw, I think it was a day or two ago, a popular YouTuber, CU Online is the name of her channel. She went over a whole process on a top trending design that's doing really well right now. That is essentially a customer uploaded photo where they can convert that to line art and then be able to use that on embroidery or various products. And she was talking about how that is trending right now, and then walk through how you can recreate that. She said just with the click of a button, which her process, in my opinion, was not really automated because she obviously doesn't know about Anywhere POD yet, because we can save so much time with this process. So her, one click easy way to do it involved getting the file from the customer through Etsy messages, then uploading to Kittl, then copying and pasting your prompt in and getting the design that you want, and then downloading that and then going back into your orders in Printify and re-uploading the design for every single order that you receive. With Anywhere POD, the customer can upload their photo before they even purchase, see a preview of what it's going to look like. And then when you receive the order, you don't have to go through all of those steps for every single order that you receive. So huge time saver. So I want to walk through one that's kind of similar to that, that's going to convert an image that I upload, and it's going to use the AI functionality to convert that to line art. So let's come in here. I will just go with, let's use the Shine On acrylics again for example here. So we go to start designing. I think this could work well on the acrylics as well. Acrylics actually look really good if it is, for like single line type drawings. So this would be a good option for it as well. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to upload a example kind of placeholder image here. So let me find my, here we go. All right. So get a right image. This one should work. Okay. So we hit open. So here is our sample image that we're going to use here. So we're going to come down here. We're going to mark this as personalized. And we're going to say open our AI filter here. And we will say, convert this, actually, let's say the people in this image to a line art drawing. Make the lines thick enough to be able to use in embroidery. Maybe it could be simplified a little bit, but that should get us what we're looking for. We will say transparent background. That's going to set it so that the background is removed, and it should just give us a line drawing of the individuals here on it. So let's go to generate. Now this is close to, which I'll show you what it actually looks like to the customer. It's going to be close to this, where the customer is going to get some feedback along the way. So it does take about 1 minute to generate these types of images. So instead of just uploading and getting a spinner for a minute and not really sure if it's actually doing anything, the customer will see a blur over the image that's going to slowly go away, so they can see that something is happening there, and it looks like something's getting generated. They will also see some text here below the spinner, so they kind of see that there's an updated status along the way. And actually, on the version that the customer sees, there's also going to be another line of text right above the spinner here, letting them know that it usually takes about 1 minute to generate an image. So it's really communicating well to the customer to know that they just need to hang tight for a second. Mike asked, is there a place these prompts are saved, copy in another product, or are they just saved in each listing and we just copy from those? Yes, so they are actually saved, which I will show you here. Perfect, that's done here. So you can see here, I have a little drop down here with some other ones that have already been saved to my account. So when I give this a name here, so we'll say line art, this prompt is now going to be saved. So if I want to reuse this prompt on something else, like an ornament or something along that, we can certainly, you can be able to reuse that without having to copy and paste prompts and that whole sort of thing. So it is saved to your account. It looks like it gave some extra line here that is looks to be probably part of the road that was, I think, in my original image. So you probably get a little bit more specific here, letting them know that you only want kind of an outline of the people. The other kind of line art drawing that's very popular right now is what they call like a single line drawing. You'll see a lot of examples on that on Etsy as well, where it's all done with like one connected line that like never stops. That's a very common style of line art that's used in designs in Etsy right now. Okay, so once we have this created, we can just come down here to create product. And of course, if we wanted to put anything else on here, like personalized names, personalized backgrounds, other artwork layers that kind of go along with this design, you could certainly do any of that here that you wanted to as well. Now what we're going to do is enable our live preview so that when we publish this over to Etsy, the customer is able to see that information come through as well. So if we go to enable preview, we have previews already available for this. So all we need to do is click on enable live previews. See a question here. I may have missed it. Does the customer type in the prompt, or do we set up the prompt for them in Anywhere POD? So you will set up the prompt for them in Anywhere POD. If you wanted to offer a couple of different styles, you could certainly do that as a variation option, so they can kind of select between the two. But honestly, I think most of the time when you use AI prompts, it's probably going to be, this is the prompt for this style of product or design that they're purchasing, and it's going to kind of be preset for them. So literally all the customer has to do is just upload their image or images. This does work with multiple images as well. So if you want like something themed around the memorial niche, where they could add an image of their loved ones that's passed away and add that image to like an existing photo of their family or anything like that. Maybe sometimes you'll see where they'll then put like a halo around those that have passed away. You can certainly do any of that with the prompt as well. Okay, so we have that here. We have our live previews enabled. So you can see down here now, it's going to give us the URL that'll be used in your Etsy listing. You can easily click on this add to instructions box here. This is going to add this set of instructions to the instructions that get published over with this product over to Etsy. Of course, you can change those as well. So in this case, we just instruct them to go to this link, There they will upload their photos and then they come back to Etsy to complete their purchase, right? So you'll want to save that. That way, when you publish this product, it is going to publish to Etsy with those instructions already on it. So if we click on the link here, you will see an example of what the live previews look like. Probably a good time to mention as well that you can change, depending on the product, you can actually change the style of this live preview on some of the products. And I know on this one we have multiple different versions of the live preview available. So this version of the live preview is on a darker background. So if you have light text or light images, that works really well. In this case, we had a darker outline. So to be able to change that, what you can do here is go to the Enable Live Preview section here again. You'll see here other templates may be available. Click to view all templates. So we'll click that. That's going to give us all of our templates that we have here, and we can essentially, do I want the darker background or do I want the lighter background? So in this case, we're going to want the lighter background since we have dark text. So we'll hit save and continue on that, and that will update our previews to that new version. So now if we come back over to our live preview here, which is what the customer is going to see, you see we have updated to our lighter background option, right? So now all I need to do is go to choose file, and let me see if I have another one here. Let me find one that is maybe a little bit closer up that might work. Is that our first one? No, this one should do it. Okay, I'm just looking through the list of sample images that I have here. This one, they're almost facing, like the back of the girl's facing forward a little bit more, but I think it should still give you an idea of how the process works. So they just need to upload it. As I said, you're going to see here, it's going to give them the processing notice here at the top, and then also a status that will change and update here underneath the spinner as well, so that the customer knows that something's happening, that it's generating the image, and they're just not just sitting there not getting any feedback, wondering if it's actually working and that sort of thing. So those will automatically generate for us now. It'll do a similar thing when you have multiple files that you want to upload. This will turn into like a drag and drop multi-file upload process. So they can just drag in any of their images here, and it will combine all of those images based on the prompt that you supplied and what you want done with each one of those images. So it can make that process very smooth as well. Right, this should be about done here. There we go. So you can see in this one, kind of glad this happens. So this does happen occasionally where without being specific enough, it will want to sometimes cut off the top or the bottom of people that are in the image. So you do often, depending on your prompt and how you have it set up, it is a good idea to add to your prompt something along the lines of make sure that you're not cutting off the heads or anything like that. Depending on the orientation that you have selected, whether it's square. Honestly, a lot of times with photos like this, sometimes going with that portrait or landscape can work a little bit better, but you do have those options to be able to adjust that here in Anywhere POD. So if you come in here, you will see there is a resolution setting right down here where I can select if I want this to be a square, portrait, or landscape, and you can select between each one of those. So you can adjust that depending on to kind of match your product and your design. So in here, but about making sure that nothing gets cut off from the people that are in the image that's uploaded. So you would want to adjust that slightly. The other thing I did not mention earlier is that you can also upscale your images. So every image is going to be generated at the same size based on what you have this resolution set to, right? So if you're doing ornaments are usually under that kind of 1,000 pixel mark. So you won't need to do any kind of upscaling there. But if you're on a different product, a lot of times the artwork needs to be larger than what actually gets produced by the AI system. So in this case, it's 1024. So what I would want to do here is upscale that image because it needs to be a lot larger based on where I have it positioned on my artboard here. It needs to be larger so that it still fits within the dimensions that are required by the supplier. So to do that, I will want to click on this upscale to 100%. That's going to upscale not only your sample image here, but then in the future, when a customer uploads their image, it is going to do the upload process. It's going to do the AI conversion. And then before it actually displays it, it's going to do the upscaling for you automatically as well. So that any order that is received is going to be upscaled and be at the correct dimensions to print as high quality as possible on any of your products. So hopefully that was useful to everybody. That's a quick rundown really of all three of the features that we launched this week. I didn't want to go into too much detail on each one because we kind of had a full overview the last few weeks. But if you guys have any questions or have any more detail that you'd like to see on any of these, I'm happy to kind of go over any of those in more detail for you as well, if you would find that beneficial. So feel free to ask any questions below that you might have. Happy to stick around and answer any questions, whether it's about the features we've released or really anything else to do with Anywhere POD, Etsy, Shopify, POD, e-commerce, any of that stuff. Happy to answer any questions here. So I see Mike has one. If the customer is not satisfied with the live preview, can they hit regenerate or upload a different photo? Yes, they can absolutely upload a different photo. So you can see here on the sample that I have, I can come in here still and choose another photo and re-upload something new, and it will go through the generation process again and display that here for me. So even on this one that was cut off, they would have the option to re-upload and try something new or retry this image if they wanted to. But I think adjusting the prompt, you could get it to not be an issue here. Really, most of the time, once you have your prompts dialed in, like most of the stuff I've worked on and seen from customers that have been working on it over the past few weeks, once you kind of get that prompt dialed in, very rarely do you get an image that like doesn't work, especially if you're not going for like photography style that's like hyper realistic. You can run into some issues with that. So like if we have like a portrait of family and we want to add other people to that portrait, that can get to be a little bit difficult because AI is going to kind of regenerate every single aspect of that image. So it's going to kind of get a little bit borderline on kind of uncanny valley a little bit, where it's like you can tell it's the same person, but if you know them, it just looks a little bit off. So the more artistic style you go, whether it's watercolor or some sort of like medieval painting or any of that type of stuff, kind of the safer you are on not worrying about it having to 100% match that person. All right, let's see here. Is there a video you can guide me to that may show how to set up templates for notebooks? I mainly have used Anywhere POD for apparel, but want to add notebooks and not sure how to go about that for mockups. Great question. So this really kind of depends on your mockups. So since journals are an all over print, to get that where it looks correct, you really kind of need a mask file along with it. Besides just the like blank mockup background. Depending on where you got your mockup from, it's likely that it may have come with what we would call a mask file. A lot of times, if it's a mockup that's able to be used in Canva, it's going to come with that. The way they will usually show to do that in Canva is to add the mockup to Canva, add your artwork, and then right-click and tell it to send your artwork to the back so that the mockup image is on front, and then your design kind of shows through. So that's essentially how a mask file works, is it's going to be on top of your artwork, and then it will generate correctly. So best thing in that case, honestly, if you could send in to support your mockup files, we can look to see if they are already set up to be a mask. If they're not, we can send you a video on how to turn it into a mask. It does require some editing in Photopea, but it's really just kind of a process of steps that kind of once you know how to do it, it's not that difficult to do. It's just a little bit out of the norm, depending on how your mockup's set up. So if you reach out to support, we can definitely help you further with that. All right. If I have multiple products that I've listed separately with Anywhere POD, is there a way I can utilize the existing products to create a combined listing for the product to be listed together? So you can do that, but it won't pull together from your existing products. So the way you would do that is use our add variants functionality here. So if we come into this one, for example, if I wanted to add another product or another option to this, I would use our add variants functionality here, which would then, whatever I select then after that, whether it's different artwork options, different product options, like if you want to do t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve on one listing, you can select all those and do that here. But you will need to add those as variants, not as separate products. So hopefully that makes sense there. Let's see. Stephanie says, thank you for constantly evolving the app over the past 2 years. The growth has been amazing. Thank you for the support, Stephanie. Really appreciate that. And thank you for kind of being with us along the journey. It's been lots of fun. Does the customer still need to send over the photo via Etsy messages, or will the image they submitted in the live preview follow the order? Excuse me. So it will follow the order. So the cool thing here, I kind of didn't finish that here on the live preview. When they upload their photo or complete any of the other personalization and click on next, it's going to generate this kind of token here that they just have to click here to copy. Even if they forget to click that copy, when they click on continue on Etsy, it's going to copy that for them. When they click on continue on Etsy, it's going to take them right back to your Etsy listing, and they just need to paste that into the personalization field. And from there, all of the photos, the text, any clip art they select, like the entire personalization set that they configured in this live preview is going to come through and be automatically generated without having to collect photos from Etsy messages, without you having to go in and adjust or re-upload or do any of that type of stuff. You can still review the order before it goes to production. That's up to you. But you don't have to go through and do all of those extra manual steps anymore. The days of having to take Etsy messages for photos that Etsy's, compressed and all this stuff, like you don't need to do that anymore. So this works with the AI filters like we showed. The example that we showed last week was one that was able to crop the images that they uploaded to the word mom. So they could put an image in the M, the O, and the M. Any of that type of stuff is now all possible in Anywhere POD without you having to do all of these extra manual steps every single time over and over and over. Is it okay to place a note on Etsy thumbnail to say there's a live preview available, or would that alert Etsy bot to something they may not generally allow? So as far as we know, there's nothing wrong with showing your customers a live preview like this and having that option, because we are not permanently directing them away from Etsy at all. There's not any way for them to complete checkout outside of Etsy, which is where you get in trouble with Etsy's policies. So having that as a part of your mockup images, I don't see an issue with. I would also look at adding a branded QR code that you could generate that would take them to this URL, which is nice because you can tell them just to scan that QR code, and that would get them to this page without having to copy and paste it, which, especially if they're on a mobile device, could be a lot easier. So both of those are really good options, I think, to be able to show that to your customers and let them know that you have that option available. I love the bulk upload option, but I don't like having to go into the Etsy listing and having to update the categories and attributes. Is there a way around this? Not yet, but that is something we do plan to add to make that bulk process even easier, so that you can create a product in Anywhere POD, publish to Etsy, then in Etsy, you can set whatever category and attributes and any of that type of stuff that you want to, and have that kind of extra data be able to sync back into Anywhere POD when you do the bulk upload process, so that that same information is set on every single additional listing that you create. So that is something that that is coming, that we plan on releasing. So definitely stay tuned for that. I think it'll be a really good solution, and just really automate. By the time you do that with the bulk upload, there's really like very little else that like needs to be done, right, on a listing. Like, it is going to be amazing how fast you can create listings, which will free up your time to do all the other stuff that's going to actually drive sales to your store. So when you're creating an image in Anywhere POD, such as the one you showed here, you don't have to worry about expanding the image on the artboard. You just select the 3 sizes given, like portrait and so on. So you still are going to want to position it on the artboard how you want it, right? So like in this case, I did a, I had something regenerate here that I was in the middle of. Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so in this case, let me, so it's going to give you this square image. You're still going to want to drag that around and position it how you want it, right? So you're going to want to put it where you want it to be, and have it positioned. So if you want it, smaller or larger, you're going to want to have that positioned how you want it to be exactly on the artboard there. So you still want to do that and position it. When it gets generated by AI, every single image is going to be generated that same way. So it's going to be positioned and placed correctly every single time when the customer uploads their photo. No matter what size they upload, it's going to get converted to the same size image. So your layout and placement will always be the same. Margot says, you thought of everything. Thanks. We certainly try to. That's awesome. I have 2 Shopify stores. Do I need 2 memberships, or can I use the same on both stores? So you will need 2 separate subscriptions for each Shopify store with how Shopify currently works, but you can use the same account in Anywhere POD. You can just put them each into a different store here in your stores list. So you can see I have a few different ones here for various testing things. So you'll just, when you add that, you want to make sure it gets added to a different store, so that you have both of them linked in your same account. So you'll have one login, and then you can switch back and forth between the 2 stores depending on which one you're working on. And if you need any help getting any of that set up, you can feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help with that anytime. Do product bundles work for Etsy, or is that a Shopify only feature? No, they absolutely do work for Etsy. So that's the really cool thing with how our product bundles work. There are some other bundling options out there, like Etsy even has a built-in bundling option. My problem with how Etsy has theirs implemented is that it's kind of an afterthought for the customer, right? So let me go to one here. Let's see. Go to my product list. I think I have one under Deco Bundle right here. So this is a bundled product that I have, where the customer can select the plate, the bowl, the mug, the placemat, the silverware, or they can select the full place setting and get all 5 pieces all at once. So the way the bundles work with Etsy is that each one of those kind of has to be a separate listing, and then you can create a bundle in Etsy, and then like further down on the page, it'll show that you have some bundling options and they can save. Most customers aren't going to scroll down that far on the page and be able to see that. The way the bundles work in Anywhere POD is you create them as variant options. And now when I publish this product over, it's going to have all of those as a variant option in Etsy. So let me see if I still have this in Etsy, or if I need to republish here. Let's see, view on Etsy. Got it here. Okay, cool. So if I scroll down here and look at the variants that it published over, you can see under product, it's going to give me plate, a bowl, mug, placemat, silverware, or full place setting. So the customer has to select that dropdown to select what product they want. And when they select that product dropdown, they're going to see, oh, hey, there's a full place setting option. I can buy it with one click and save whatever you want to put on it. I would probably even look at renaming this. So like full place setting and maybe show like, discount price or something. Like you could play around with that a little bit if you wanted to, but it's going to show it right there in the product selection. So as the customer's purchasing, it doesn't get overlooked or missed or anything like that. So is a huge benefit. And I think this is one of the places that honestly, I think gets overlooked by merchants a lot too, is all the different things that you can do with bundles. This kind of place setting is an excellent example of it, right? Because if you have something like this in particular is like a kid's place setting where you can put the kid's name on it. And so they could, with one click, you've got this full place setting for a kid where they've got a placemat with their name on it, a plate, a bowl, silverware, a mug, all with their name on it, right? So it's a huge opportunity there for an upsale without the customer having to go back and forth between the listing. Think of like luggage tags and passport holders and be able to have some matching designs around that. Pillows and blankets, right? If you're selling blankets, add a pillow to that existing listing and offer it as a bundle. Then they can select from the blanket, is already selling, the pillow, or the pillow and blanket combo. Like if you're already making sales on that blanket, you're going to have some people that are going to buy the blanket from you that are just going to automatically click on the option to have the matching pillow with it. Cause it's like, why not? Right? Like that's going to be just a bigger benefit to you. Even if you only have 10% of people that select that, well, now you've, almost doubled your profit on 10% of your orders. I think anybody would take that. So yes, don't, I think too many people kind of sleep on bundles, and there's lots and lots of opportunities there. This is funny. Okay. Now this very next question. If I wanted to create a bundle for a blanket and a pillow, both personalized, does the personalization need to be the same on both products? So it does not. So the only caveat to bundles and personalization is that if you're doing a bundle, the live preview option won't work for that bundle. But if you're doing like text-based personalization, you can just have the customer enter into the text field, whatever it is, and that will flow through with the order and still then can be applied to both products. So it can still be a great way to offer personalization, but they do not have to match and be like the exact same thing. I think the only caveat there is you'd kind of have to make sure that whatever instructions you put on that Etsy listing makes sense to the customer, right? So if you need to give different instructions for the pillow and the blanket, that could get a little bit confusing for the customer, right? But if you're just asking for the name and how you're applying it to the product is different between the two, then yeah, that would absolutely work. How exciting is what I've been trying to do. Yes, I love bundles. With the bundle feature, can you pull in an item from a separate listing, or do all the items being bundled need to be on the same listing and as individual items as well? So they do need to be on the same listing. So so you need to add those as a variant option in Anywhere POD. You do not have to have the individual variant options though available to be purchased on that listing, if that makes sense, right? So like on this one, I've got plate, bowl, mug, placemat, silverware. If I only want to offer the 5 bundle set and I don't want to offer all of these as individual options, and I'm just going to market this as full place setting, not give them any other options, I can come in here and check any of these that I don't want to offer. So in this case, I can say all. I don't want to delete them because they're used as part of the bundle, but I can disable them. If I disable them, then they're not going to be published over to Etsy. And the only thing that gets published over is going to be my bundle option here. But they do, to be offered in a bundle, they do need to be added to the same product here, because when I come in here to add my bundle, it's going to give me all of my product and artwork options that I have on this particular product. So it has to be added there first. Cool. Got it. Thanks. Awesome. All right. Very cool. What other questions does anybody have? Again, happy to answer on anything. We are getting close to our hour mark, so we'll kind of do a last call for questions. Excited for everybody to join us today. Super excited for Q4. I really think with all of these new features that you have, and especially the live previews on Etsy now, that really takes things to a new level and really opens up the possibilities of what you can do on Etsy. So if you guys do get into it and you have any questions or questions about how to build a product or anything specific like that, always, always, always feel free to reach out to our support. We're more than happy to help answer any questions, get you back on track, and get you up and going at any time. So always happy to help. All right. I am not seeing any other questions coming in. I always forget to say it. If you're on Shopify and you don't mind, please go to the Shopify App Store, leave us an honest review there. It really means a lot to us to have you guys go do that. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video as well. That's a big help to us as well. I always forget to ask for those things. So if you guys don't mind leaving a review, that is a big help for us. Okay, a couple last minute questions here. Can a bundle be created with the same product, like a set of 2 of the same pillow? Yes, you can do that too. So when you come in here to add your bundle, so like say if I wanted 2 plates here, I could just say add to bundle, and I'm going to leave that plate selected, go add to bundle again. Now this bundle has 2 plates, exact same product. So yes, you can do it 2 of the same thing as well. So it is a great way to be able to add sets of things, especially like we have some questions every once in a while on like ornaments where you want to give a discount on an ornament, but each one's a separate design. And Printify will sell those in packs. Like they'll do 1, 5, 10, or whatever, but those have to be of the same design. When you create it as a bundle, they can be separate designs. So if you want to do like a discount, say if they order 5 ornaments with like 5 names, different name on each ornament, you can do that with the bundle, still be able to offer that discount. So it's pretty cool way to be able to do things that way too. Bev says, how many photos can be used for the Etsy preview? Is there a max? So there is not a max. I would be careful of, making sure that whatever options you have make sense to the customer and isn't too overwhelming, right? Like everybody has a handful of images that they could use of their family to be able to upload and use. But if I need to come up with like 50 images, that's a little bit more of a daunting task, right? Technically, can it be done? Yes. Would I recommend it? It's getting to be a little many. So just something to keep in mind there. All right. For real this time, I think that got through all of the questions. Thanks for those last few last minute questions there. Happy to help anytime. If you guys have any questions throughout the week, always feel free to reach out to support. We are happy to help. Alrighty. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Talk to you later.